Oh, yes.
Where's Rachel? Where is she? Where'd you... Harvey? Where did you put her? Where did Harvey put Rachel? Hello. Hello. You're watching Nerdish. I lost my shoe. You gotta put your shoe back on. Very good. What are we doing here? Well, we do SAT, ACT prep for everyone. Yes, and the question is not where is Rachel, but when. 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's when Rachel is. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Watch it. Just see what it's like. It's for free. All week long. You can ask us questions like where's Rachel and what you do with Rachel and where is Harvey Dent. They're both studying for the SAT. It's a very important test if you want to go to college or university. Nice. I should have said university first because it rhymes. Oh, that's Catwoman. That's okay. I think we know Catwoman because we're Batmen. Let's do a problem. Yeah. We did exponents last time. What should we do? Let's factor a quadratic. Okay. Man, when it comes to education, I'm an addict. Oh my god, but not that kind of addict. No, just a quadratic addict. I hope this is factorable. Oh, it's gonna be factorable. Add 6. Okay. 6 is for Rachel. Alright. Let's take out a 2. Let's make it equal to 0. That's a good idea. Okay. So let's factor 2. X squared minus 2. How much time do we have before Rachel explodes? Ask Harvey. Harvey. Multiply to positive 3, add to negative 2. I don't think that's possible. Oh, shoot. That's okay. Sometimes you can't factor quadratics. And sometimes you can't save Rachel. I was about to say that. I'm so sorry. No, it's good. It shows that we're tight bonded, like Tight Bond, original wood glue. It has a tight bond, like me and Levi.
I'm going to do this soundlessly.
We're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
That I can. We can see the green bar.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no viewers. Sound now. Very good. Cool. So, Darth, we're doing your problem. We have done nothing with it yet. What you said about multiplying the top and the bottom through by 5, cool. That's not a bad idea, but generally with these, that's not necessary. What they're looking for you to do is factor the top and the bottom so that you can cancel out some of the factors. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite the top. I'm going to pull out the greatest common factor, which I think is xy. So if I pull out xy, I only have an x left over from the first term, and then I have a y left over from the second term. And then on the bottom, I'm going to pull out a y. Yep. Yeah, pull out a y. Okay. And I get y plus 2/5 x. This y, I'm going to do this in blue.
Yeah, no, Slayer Darth, we understand why you did it. And yeah, we'll get to that if we feel like we need to.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing. Did you do this at all or no? So this y goes away, this y goes away.
Yeah, no, we understand, Slayer Darth. We totally get it, and that's a really good instinct. And you can do that here. Levi decided to take a different route.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is that they're looking for, because it's simplified is sometimes in the eye of the beholder. So this is going to be x times x plus y over y plus 2/5 x. In your way, it would be 5x times x plus y over 5y plus 2x.
Now the denominator is 5y plus 2x. Oh, so you did end up multiplying by 5.
I did, if that's what the denominator needs to be. Yeah. This doesn't look like a multiple choice thing. I mean, this is just from a textbook, it looks like, right?
And this is the correct answer, is 5y plus 2x on the bottom.
Yeah, so with the SAT and ACT, they will give you multiple choice answers. So you'll have it in front of you. So if you don't see the 2/5 and you see this, then you know you have to get rid of the 2/5 somehow. So you multiply the top and the bottom by 5.
Yeah, so Slayer Darth, you could have done it in your order and then factor and cancel out the y's. That's kind of the thing that has to happen. You should have gotten 5y plus 2x on the bottom. Oh, sweet. Okay, good. Slayer Darth's on board.
Oh, sweet.
Very good.
Thank you for posting the question earlier today. That's cool.
You're welcome.
The mom I need to call is at dinner now, and she will call me after her dinner is over to discuss her sweet child.
Oh. Yes. We like the sound of that. Who else has questions? Levi and I have answers.
We have the answers, but we won't give them to you.
Unless you ask the questions.
Yep.
We have all the answers. One of the answers is 16 1/3. But we won't tell you what the question is. You have to ask us what the question is.
Any question the next question you ask, the answer is 16 2/3.
No. 1/3. 16 1/3. That's what I said the first time.
Yeah, no, I just missed it. That's all.
Oh. Well, you gotta be careful, Levi.
Yes?
Yeah. You do.
I gotta update the Facebook.
Very good. All right. What should I go into? We haven't talked about really anything for a long time now. So I think it might be time to bring old... I'm going through the SAT practice test for maths on Khan Academy right now. Very good. Yeah, that's a good resource. That's a very good resource. Let us know if there's any questions that, for whatever reason, Khan just doesn't do it for you. They're generally very good explanations. So you probably will be fine. Levi, what should we talk about? Complex numbers? Yeah?
You have to.
Yeah, we do, don't we? We do. Oh, man, I'm sweaty, man. I'm really sweaty. I like how they just make the subways in New York incredibly hot.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I'm actually kind of... Oh, we should sit down. Over tape, great. The little rectangle of tape has made its reappearance. It looks like there are more opportunities to take the SAT papers this year at my local testing facility, whereas for something like A-Levels math, I would need to wait another year. Yeah, well, that's great. Your local testing facility. That's a very technical way to describe it, unless that is exactly what everyone calls it. Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time, Slayer Dath. Because you're in Britain. England. Land of the Angles. Or, yes, Anglos. Anglos, not Angles. Geometry is land of the Angles. Anglo-Saxon. Where is Saxons from, Levi? Saxony. Where is Saxony?
Russia.
That's just not true. I don't why. Land of the guy who created SOL. What is SOL? SQL. Is that SQL? I think it's SQL.
SOL is totally different from SQL.
What is SQL?
The curse word for poop and then out of luck.
Yeah, no, I know that. Oh, it's SQL. There's no way that a guy created that from England.
It's a database thing. Programming language.
And that's what people, it's like a server program thing. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. CP Turtle for the win. Yeah, Levi. Can you take over for like 2 minutes? I gotta just sit down. I'm very sweaty and out of breath.
Speaking of communicating with databases, we are a database of knowledge. So what do you guys want to talk about? You want to do English? You want to do math? Edgar F. Codd was his name. Edgar F. Codd. Cool. I didn't know that, actually. Actually, that's not surprising. Darth, do you want to go over other things, canceling things out? Do you all know about excluded values? So, you know, if you have something like 2x plus 3y squared over, maybe let's not have that be a y. That's an x. And then this is x minus 2. What values of x? You want to do maths. All right, Darth. You know, what values of x here are, for which values of x is this function undefined? Do you know that stuff? It's so horrifying here. Sure, that. What values of x does this function not have? Could we go over the laws of exponents? I know that multiplication is where you add the exponents together and division is where you minus them. Yes, good. But I'm still a little fuzzy. Oh, so fuzzy. Okay. Yes, so let's ignore this. So we have, as you said, product rule. That is x. Let's use a. I like using a's and b's. Doesn't actually matter. So x to the a times x to the b is x to the a plus b. Then we have quotient rule. Ugh. It's too important to misspell. Quotient rule. I mean, I guess it's technically not. You don't have to know how to spell this or say it ever for the tests. X to the a divided by x to the b. That is the same thing as x to the a over x to the b. And they become x to the a minus b. So you know those. One of the really simple ones is the zero exponent rule or property, whatever. I don't know what it's. No, I should have done rule because it's quicker. Zero exponent property is x to the 0 equals 1. You probably know that. You also know, I'm just going to write it here as well, x to the 1 equals x. Yeah, so we know those things. Then we have power rule. Power rule is x to the a raised to the b, and that equals x to the a times b. This is cut off. Fantastic. And then the negative exponent rule for returning the reciprocal. Yes, Cool. So we have power rule. And that is x to the a to the b equals x to the a times b. Yes, and we covered the other one, which is x to the negative a equals 1 over x to the a, and for good measure, we'll say 1 over x to the negative a equals 1 over, no it doesn't, equals x to the a. Now, we also talked about the radical stuff, right? So we have x to the a over b power, that equals the bth root of x to the a. It also equals the bth root of x to the a. These are interchangeable. So you can raise x to that power, or you can take the root of it and then raise x to that power. Doesn't matter. And then that's basically it. Now, you can distribute your exponent as well. So let's talk about that. That's something that a lot of people do incorrectly. So bird. Oh! Yes. If we say, I'm going to switch to yellow. If we say 2axby c squared, let's make this cube, let's make this, that's it. And we cube everything. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what is our simplified version of this expression?
I'm not really a math guy, so I don't know.
Bird,
What?
you get paid to be a math guy. I pay you.
Do you?
I pay you in utils.
All right, fine, man. 8a cubed, x ninth, b cubed, y cubed, c to the 6th.
Somebody's tired.
Is that what you wanted? Here's the thing, guys. There's only multiplication happening in those parentheses. Everything's being multiplied by the other things. So, in that situation, you're allowed to distribute the exponent to all of these things separately. All right? Isn't that blah, 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 blah? Correct. Slayer Darth has written what it means. It's that thing times itself 3 times. Because multiplication is commutative, meaning it does not matter what order you multiply things, you can just group terms that are like and then multiply them separately and then put the whole thing back together again.
So more simply, x times y squared is the same thing as xy times xy, which is the same thing as xy, which is the same thing as x squared y squared.
What Levi just did is he took the concept we're talking about and he distilled it into a very simplified version. So now you can see what we're talking about and then apply it to the more complex thing.
Oh my gosh, Bird.
What? That's how you teach.
And then, what about this? X plus y squared.
Easy. Right? Because you just distribute the square to both of them like what we just talked about.
No, Bird.
What?
That's not it.
What? That's what we just did.
Well, it's not. Because multiplication is commutative, so is addition, but squaring this means that you multiply it by itself. Here, we have to multiply it by itself. So this is wrong because this is going to be x plus y times x plus y.
Oh.
You don't get to commute addition and multiplication.
I think I see what's going to happen.
Yeah, so what's going to happen, Bird?
All right, so you're going to multiply the terms that are in the same spot by each other. So that'll give you x squared, and then this will give you y squared. So it'll be x squared plus y squared. So I was right.
No. You also... this is messy anyway. You FOIL it, which you know, and Bird knows very well as well.
What? I'm not a math guy.
You're a math guy.
That's my new thing, is I'm not a math guy.
You're not a math guy?
Do you like that?
That's the answer.
Wait, where did that come from?
That comes from the oi.
Oh, oi, foil.
Oi. Yeah.
Hey, oh, let's go. Yeah, you should know foil at this point. If not, we can do a little review on that thing.
So this is super important, not because it's necessarily hard. None of this math is challenging. It's just that these are very easy to mistake, and people do this, what Brady just did,
All the time.
All the time.
Literally every single second, somewhere on the planet, somebody's doing it.
That's definitely true.
Yes, there's enough kids in school that
Yeah.
that's happening.
one of the things I like to think about is with PEMDAS. So, well, this doesn't matter. So multiplication
Don't cross out P.
and division. Sorry?
Don't cross out P.
I crossed it out.
All right.
And then we have addition and subtraction. So when you do exponents and you're distributing over multiplication, that's allowed because it's one step down. That was some of the best acting I've ever witnessed.
Levi and I have been / are actors.
Yes. And then you can multiply, if you have something like 2 times 3 plus 4, you could do 3 plus 4 and then multiply by 2, or you could distribute the 2 to both of those, right? So you can distribute multiplication and division over addition and subtraction, but you cannot make this big step. That's not acceptable.
So, from what I can surmise from what you're positing, it seems as though math...
I'm not positing anything.
It seems like math is just another language with its own rules, just like, say, English.
I probably shouldn't have erased these. Do you have any questions about any of these properties specifically?
Is
or
that
want
right?
to see any practice? What would you say?
Would you say that math is just a language with its own rules?
I would say it's the language of logic.
The language of logic.
Yes.
Does it describe all logic?
Yeah, that's what mathematics is, isn't it?
Well, what about, like, if it's cloudy, then it's not sunny? That's not represented by math.
Yes, it is. P of A, like, if not, there are not symbols and if and things like that.
Yeah, but that's not this.
It's all straightforward to you. Good. What else? More math? Exponents you got. We could do some expected value stuff. Not that has to... What has to do... Ooh. Change of base. You want to do change of base?
Oh. I don't know how to do that.
Yes, you do, Bird.
What? I'm not a math guy. Right? That's my new catchphrase.
Oh, no, I heard about it.
And then I do something blatantly wrong, and then I fix it.
Okay.
Because I'm learning.
You are tired.
I'm tired and I'm hungry
gosh.
and I'm cranky because I have not eaten enough today.
Crank word.
Correct. Crank word.
You want me to give you a couple of pieces of chip with hummus on them?
Actually, yes. I think that would be awesome.
Okay. If you do change of base, I will feed them to you intermittently while you teach.
Yes. I believe I am teaching for my supper.
You believe I... Huh?
I believe I am teaching for my supper.
Sup, word.
Sup word. Sup word. Here, it's combining the two things, word and accents.
No, I got you. Tone languages.
Tonal languages. They're everywhere. They did some studies. Every 5 seconds, somewhere in the world, someone uses a tonal language. It's that often.
Okay, so change of base. This has to do...
I want to write it.
No, you don't. You want to teach it.
Hey, it's Geckman too. Hey, Geckman.
2 plus 2. Can't do that. Bird, are you a math guy?
I'm not a math
He's
guy.
not a math guy. He doesn't know that.
Bird is not a math guy. He's a math bird. I want to do it now.
Okay, do it.
Okay. Let's say, I don't know, something like this. 5 to the x plus 3 is equal to 5 to the 5x minus 1. And I said to you, hey, solve for x. You'd probably be like, I either know how to do this or I don't. All right? So I'm going to give you an easier one. 5 to the x is equal to 5 to the 7th. There's a lot of simple symmetry going on here. The only way that this is true is if our exponent is 7 in both cases. We are allowed to do this. Hey, Talibram, that's a name right there. We are writing this all mirrored. Correct. Yes, Levi and I have gotten very good at writing backwards because there's no such thing as like video software that, flips footage. So Levi and I have been forced to do this. So x is equal to 7 here. So in this case, our two bases are the same, so we are allowed to do the same thing. This exponent here has to be equivalent to this exponent here for this expression to make sense. Telegram, we're writing normally, but then it flips the footage. I don't know if you could tell. I'm cranky, so I'm sarcastic, and it's not helpful. But Anyway, so I'm going to set one of the exponents equal to the other exponent, basically canceling out the 5s. The 5s are no more. If you enjoyed the 5s, I'm sorry, but there's still a 5 right there. So it's kind of like your old buddy, okay? So now I can just solve this thing for x very simply. I will subtract x from both sides. I will add 1 to both sides, and I will get 4x is equal to 4. Therefore, x is equal to 1. Okay? That is how you solve something like this. That's where the bases are the same. What if the bases are different? Have you thought about that? Where are these chips, man?
Right.
I'm dying up here. I'm dying up here. You know that every 10 seconds, somebody on the planet dies?
I think it's not true.
No, man. Think about that. That means that every minute, 6 people died.
What's crazy is that every 2 minutes someone lives.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. All right, here's what we're going to do.
All right, take a pause. We're taking a bird break. Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Go!
Here, eat that one. Very good. And then read this. Starting here. Eat this one. Very good. We're almost there. Okay, hold this. I'm going to write up your question for you.
Give me different bases.
Oh yeah, you're going to get some different bases, dude.
Do you know what these bases be wildly different?
No.
Okay.
I won't do it.
Do you want me to answer this question?
Yeah, can you just answer it?
Can I tell you what the answer is?
Can you just write it?
I got markers in my hands, man.
Shoot, yes.
All right, more recent ACTs are harder.
Yeah.
There's like a little more pre-cal thrown in. All right. So we cannot do the same thing where we just say one exponent is equal to the other exponent because 5 is not 25. However, there is a relationship between 5 and 25 that we can exploit. We're going to exploit this relationship to the detriment of the 25. We're going to turn 25 into 5, but not exactly into 5. We're going to turn it into something that it's equivalent to, which is 5 squared. In parentheses. You always want to put things in parentheses if you're not sure. The same thing as 5 squared, still taken to the same exponent. Over here we have not done anything. We have x plus 3. Now we're getting somewhere. We now have bases of 5, but we can clean up the right side a little bit, all right? In the situation that you have an exponent inside parentheses and exponent outside of parentheses, you would multiply them. So this will turn into 5 to the 2x minus 4. On this side, we still have everyone's favorite x plus 3. Now we have just changed of base, changed the base, and now we can do our favorite, cancel out the bases, and set the two exponents equal to each other, which I'm going to go ahead and just do that, because Levi is not stopping me.
Do it.
Yeah, all right, subtract the x. We get x over here. Add the 4, we get a 7 over here. X is equal to none other than everybody's favorite, especially Voldemort's, 7. That is how you do change of base. Let's throw some curveballs into that. By the way, Lilo, we can't forget to talk about our sponsor.
Yes. Oh, right.
Yeah, big time. Big time. You ever one of those like a product on the shelves at bodegas called the Complete Cookie?
No.
You seen those? Have you had bits and pieces of them?
Yes, I do.
Well, I had one today. Apparently, it's got a lot of nutrients, but it's also just not a lot of food.
So, how did Darth feel about change of base?
Darth, how you feeling about change of base? I think
Or anybody else. Keep going. You're a good tutor. Put that away.
My master, Sauron the Great, bids thee welcome. Okay.
Are you done with this? You want me to? No, we'll keep it.
Keep it there for a sec.
Yeah.
We're going to throw a couple curveballs. 16 to the z minus 3 is equal to 64. Yes, Slayer, you keep going, you're fine. We're not, like, this isn't a class where you need to be attentive. You can keep doing your own, as you know, we're glad that you're studying SAT stuff. So nothing would ever change the way we feel about you, Slayer Darth. You could do nothing that would change the way that we feel. Okay? Anyway, 64 to the 2z plus 7. All right, two different bases. We got to change them. Which one should we change into the other one? Is it possible to change one into the other one? Can you express 64 as 16 to some power? Well, actually, yes, you can, but it's going to be fractional. It's going to be weird. You don't want to do that. 16 to the what gives you 64. Again, fractional, you don't want to do that. What we're going to have to do here, at least the simplest way that I know how to do it, because this is the way my father does it, and this is how he learned it from his father, is you're going to have to think about what do these two numbers have in common that you can change both of them down to at a lower level. Hey, it's Mr. Zaps. Hey, Mr. Zaps. Are we doing math right now? Nah, man, we're doing history. Nah, I'm kidding, we're doing math. Of course. Of course. Mr. Zaps, you got any math questions? We're talking about exponents and change of base right now. So these both have 4.
As soon as he's done, we can talk about anything you want.
As a small race, literally anything, including Levi's personal life. And believe me, he will get personal. If there was a history part on the ACT, SAT, I would die. Ha! Yeah, that would not be a good thing for them to test.
Prove it, CB Turtle.
Anyway, we're going to turn both these into 4. So 16 is 4 squared. We keep the exponent we had before. And then 64 is 4 to the cube. 2z plus 7. Now, oh yes, this. See, I can look at this. I've seen this before and struggled and spent too much time. Mr. Zaps, you are in the correct place. This is what we're doing. We're going to make it make sense. And there's not a lot of people watching, so we can devote a lot of extra attention to you. Anyway, now we can apply our multiplication property. So we can take this exponent and multiply it by z minus 3. This will give us 2z minus 6 is equal to, we have to multiply the 3 here, 6z plus 21. All right, now our bases are the same. We've officially and successfully changed of base, so we can set our exponents together. 2z minus 6 equals 6z plus 21. Slayer Darth, only if you need to. Only if you need to, don't worry. Now it's just a quick little correction thing. Not correction, just solving it. Minus 2z on both sides. That'll give us 4z. Minus 21 on both sides. That is going to get us negative 28. 27, I'm sorry. Negative 27. Divide by everyone's favorite, 4. And you get z is equal to negative 6.75. This marker's not doing well, is it? Nor is this one, probably. Oh, this is not bad. Yeah, just give it a nice firm outline. Negative 6.75, that is negative 27 over 4. All right, that was a curved ball. Now, I'm going to give you my slider. So for example, if it is negative 6, then that is the only solution. I have seen some with infinite amount, which means I guess all real numbers. Interesting question. Hello. Interesting question. The way that you'd get, okay, when you say if it's negative 6, yes, this right here is the only solution. The only way you'd get something with infinite solutions is if you had something like this. If you did your change of base, and then you ended up getting 2x plus 3 on one side and 2x plus 3 on the other, you can put in any value of x into both of these sides, and you will get that this equals this. So any value of x would make this correct. If you wanted to think about solving this, if you forgot that like this is the same thing, if you subtract 3 from both sides, you get 2x is equal to 2x. Oh yeah, 0 equals 0 all over. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly, Mr. Zaps. If you divide both of these by, or subtract 2x from both of these, you get 0 is equal to 0, x is equal to x. If x is itself, as hopefully we all are, I am myself, Levi is himself, and one of our roommates is here right now, Big Bob. We'd invite him to come up, but he is not wearing a shirt because it is very warm right now. And he's the kind of guy that just lets it all hang out in the best way possible. Like, we prefer that he you know. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everyone's having a good time. All real numbers right there. Mr. Zaps, I can give you guys my slider now, which it's going to put all of the exponent properties together.
My lord.
Yes, my lord.
Why not 3?
Oh.
My lord.
That's right.
Yes.
No, here's why. Here's why. So this would be a... Well, what can I make this into?
Do you want another example of this to try on your own,
I want
Mr.
to make
Taps?
this into a picture, but there's just nothing that's going to look like a car. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go into that. I don't know what that's going to do. That's what it looks like. I'm going to give you guys one more.
Give it to him, Brady.
Well, I have to erase first, Levi.
Give it. Yeah.
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
I'm very enthused.
You're just generally a very enthused guy.
Yeah.
Hey, you swim this morning?
I did.
How was it?
It was wet.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. If it's dry, you're doing it wrong. That's what
Yeah,
my mom
it's
always
lots
says.
of just floundering at the bottom of the pool.
Yes. You got a lot of
Yeah.
scrapes.
Also,
Yes.
the pool is so messed up.
Like
The
what?
it's just the,
The
bottom
bottom?
is, all
Crusty?
chipped
Ugh.
cement or whatever they put on the bottom of pools.
Most of what you do when you're swimming is you just look at the bottom. In
Yes.
fact, that's like all you're looking
Yeah.
at. Yeah. There was a summer where I did a lot of swimming, and each time I would like go through the list of presidents to try to get them all down. And for about
That's
a
what you were
month,
doing.
I had them all down. And then as you lose track, as you stop doing it, because it's kind
Can I
of
give you one?
uses it. No, I got a slider. Can I give him the slider?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's the thing, though, for math. I believe I can get 27 to 30 plus, but the problem is mainly that I don't read carefully or I get brain dead on super easy problems. Interesting.
Stop it.
Which I need at least 30 at least for Saturday. Mr. Zaps, we're going to get you that 30. We're going to get you that 30. Okay, Mr. Zaps, one thing that I could do for you, if you sign up on our Discord and message me, I can send you a sick calculator program if you have a TI-84 or a TI-83. If you got one of them TI Inspires, then your calculator's too powerful. It can't handle this program because it'll just reject it because it's like, I don't need this.
That'll entirely solve your problem of not reading carefully because the calculator will read for you.
Yes. One
Let's
thing you...
talk about that.
Yeah. Well, calculators... okay. All right, that's fine. It really doesn't matter. If you are closely reading, you should be underlining important parts. Word problems can be trickier than they should be. By not reading correctly, you will not just create the simple equation it might be wanting you to create. Maybe you can solve equations really well, but if you can't create the equation based off the word problem, you're out of luck. I want to give you guys my slider. Can I give him the slider?
Give him the slider.
I'm going to give him the slider. Okay. Here's what we got. Here's what we got. 36. You know what? Is this marker okay? I'm just going to push. Have another copy of this program, LOL. Nah, CB, I only got one. I already gave it to Mr. Zaps, who apparently can't use it. Of course, CB Turtle. What kind of calculator do you have? Yeah. Well, Mr. Zaps, here's what you do. We have an ACT underneath. CB Turtle, message me on Discord. Mr. Zaps, there's an ACT underneath. Go through the math section, or just any test you find online. Go through the math section, find ones that you're having trouble with. And maybe we can give you tips on like how you should read them. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Anyway, Levi, I'm going to give this one to you.
Why, my lord?
I don't know. You seem ready and wanting.
Yes.
Yes.
Firefox no longer works.
Hit the hey now. Thanks for the help, guys. Go get him, Slayer Darth. It's probably midnight where you are. Do you know that every hour it's midnight somewhere? Did you know that?
I never actually thought about that, to be honest.
Unless you're talking about, just to clarify, I don't live in a barn. When did Levi say something about you living in a barn? What are you trying to adjust right now?
Oh, this one works now. Good.
What wasn't working? Was something not working, my lord? ACT. Who's got ideas for this? What are we thinking here? Oh, you put some on our page?
Yeah, can you just pull up the second link there? I can do this.
Oh, boy.
Okay. This seems fun. This is very curvy. I think that I'm going to try to reduce these down to as small as possible. I'm going to say that 36... Oh, let's see. Well, like today, there was a problem when it was super easy to solve. I even underlined it.
Underlined it.
It was 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, and 2 feet, 4 feet. And, okay. There you go. Generally, when they give you units, it matters.
Yes.
Or every time you see units, just make sure you're keeping those units the same. It is okay to make simple mistakes in your practice. And the point is not to say, oh, I make simple mistakes, I just always do that, but to say, okay, well, this is the type of simple mistake I miss all the time. It's negatives at the end of problems. It's units when I have to do unit conversion. And those things should start triggering in you, I need to recognize that thing and be aware of it. You don't have to be good at this test every single time, but every single time you make a mistake and you realize it, you need to be better at it the next time.
Yeah, Mr. Zaps, unit conversions can go a couple different ways. You might be very quick to realize, oh, I need to divide in this situation, or I need to multiply in this situation. Like you're going from centimeters to meters, you got to divide by 100. But sometimes it doesn't come to you as quickly which one you have to do. You might know the conversion, that there's 12 inches in a foot, but you forget, are we multiplying or dividing by 12? So you have to be very, very mindful of the way that you set up your conversion, because I would say that this is like a foolproof method to never mistake the way you're going to do this. You start with the measurement that you have that you want to convert to something else. Put it over 1. You'll see why we're going to do that in a sec. All right. You're going to multiply by a conversion factor. And that's a fraction that has both units on the top and bottom. So in this case, we have inches and feet. Let's think about the two fractions we can make. We can make 1 foot over 12 inches, or we can make 12 inches over 1 foot. One of these fractions will help us. One of these fractions will stab us in the back. Here's what you want to do. We have to cancel out our inches. Our inches are on top. Units, just like numbers, can cancel out if they're on the top and bottom of a fraction. So as long as we have inches on the bottom of this next one, we'll be fine. Hence, this is the fraction we want to use. We want to put 12 inches on the bottom, 1 foot on top. So the inches are going to cancel out, leaving us just the feet, or the foot, I guess. Inches cancel out. Now we think about multiplying. Top by the top, bottom by the bottom. 28 times 1 gives us 28. 1 times 12 gives us 12. So you wanted to divide by 12 from the get-go. Or as Levi's favorite student once said, from the get-go.
From the get-go.
Directly from the get-go.
My first student.
Your first student?
My first... I don't know if he did SAT or ACT. I'm going to say ACT. My first ACT student ever.
I hope so. Yes. It turns out that 28 inches is 2.3333333333333333333333 feet.
Very good. I want to talk about this.
Who's calling me?
Who's calling you?
It's tell them. God, something needs to be done about these people that spoof your numbers and call you all the time. I get like 5 of those calls a day.
Yeah.
Like those people should be in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I would probably use some choice words that are not appropriate for young ears to describe those people.
Okay. Let's talk about this one. I thought this was fun, Bird. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I want to see what you did.
So what I did is I figured out that 36 and 216 have the same base, and it would be 6. So I changed 36 into 6 squared, still raised to this x plus 6 power.
Absolutely.
And then what I did here, I didn't like that this was in the denominator, so I changed it to 216 to the negative first power, because as we talked about with Darth yesterday and today, or just yesterday basically, When you have a negative exponent, you put it in the denominator to make it positive. So we just did the opposite here.
So you did it one way, which I really like. I would have done it a slightly different way, but it's like just a step different
Yes.
from you. Either way, you wanted to put up in the numerator eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I had it as negative, and then I changed the 216 into 6 cubed.
Yep.
And then I just have 6 cubed to the negative first to the 4x minus 7. So we have two power rule combinations happening at once. So that's what I did. Now I distributed here 2x plus 12, and then here I have 3 times negative 1 times 4x minus 7, and then that becomes this, and then we now have the same base. We've changed our base. We're happy. Bases go away. The exponents have to be the same. And then I solved, and I got 19 over 14.
This guy got 19 over 14. Remember how we said that eventually there was going to be an answer that was 16 and a third?
Yes.
That's not this one.
I got very excited for a moment.
I know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And you did too.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this is good. Hey, Mr. Zaps, do you have any non-math questions? Would you like to talk about science? We have a test here, and I think, let me see if I can pull this up.
Yeah, Mr. Zaps, what do you think you can get the most improvement on? We got today, we got tomorrow. We got to get your score up to a 30. And if not, then Levi and I should not be in this business. This business that is free. What do you call a free business? No business at all.
Great.
You're always doing
There
something.
we go.
Oh.
Wait, did that work?
What are you pulling up? Why don't I see anything? Here, wait, you gotta...
What?
I think you have to... Oh, that's not anything to do with it. Why is even that white screen?
I don't know.
Levi, make it work.
Match title, otherwise find window at the same time. Hey, Bert.
Yes.
Window title must match. Do you think that's it? No, that doesn't look like it. All right. I don't know why this isn't working.
Levi, make it work! Why isn't it working?
I don't know. Pretty frustrating though.
Oh, that's excellent.
Just so you know, the mirror does reflect things. The glass does reflect things.
Yeah, there's a slight reflection.
Just be careful. Yeah, okay, so this is not going to work. That's super frustrating.
What happens if you go to cancel? Alright, press refresh on this thing.
Okay, so we can't pull up the test for you. It's not the Explorer's fault. It's OBS.
Sorry, I'm back. I was talking to my dad on the phone. Phone dad, talk to your dad on the phone today. Brought to you by Nerdish. Nerdish, it's what's for breakfast.
Speaking of, we should probably talk about our sponsor, Ipsum.
Mr. Zaps, have you found yourself in the following situation at any point? You're just overburdened by all the different assignments you have to do. You don't know which one to focus on first. You don't know when to study. You don't know how you're doing in your classes. Has that ever happened to you? It's happened to Levi. It's happened to me. Heck, it's happened to all of us. So that's why we use Alta Ipsum. Alta Ipsum is an application you can get on your phone, or on your computer, or on your smartwatch. It's not on a smartwatch yet. You probably wouldn't want it on your smartwatch anyway, don't worry. And what it does, Levi, is...
it allows you to do several different things, but it's an executive functioning app, so it lets you track your grades, it lets you make a schedule, it also allows you to put in when you have a test, and this is really good for the school year especially when you have a lot of things going on and a lot of hats to wear and buckets to fill and places to be. So you can put in when you have a paper due, and then it'll tell you, okay, we'll work on it during these times. And then with the grade tracking, it does similar things where you can see, okay, these are my past grades, and this is where I'm lacking in other things like that. So it's a very robust app.
It's very robust.
It's superbly robust. Now, do you have any other questions, Zaps, about...
Ooh, hold on. The app is free for a month.
It's free for a month.
You can't forget that.
Yes. It's also important to remember that it was free last month. You just missed that month.
Yes. So you're basically losing money by not
Yes.
getting the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely losing Udels.
Well, I have found one of my biggest problems that have given me a long-term affect is that greatly impacting me right now. That is great. Well, I have found one of my biggest problems that have given me a long-term effect that is greatly. What is that problem? Also, and this is important for ACT, SAT, the word that you wanted to use was effect with an E.
Yes.
I relied way too much on people such as tutors helping me, etc. Oh. Well, okay, tutors help you understand stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to be the one to finally organize your stuff and figure out, you know, what you need to do and when.
So individual problems being explained to you generally doesn't help that much. You have to use every problem you get wrong to then point it towards this is how I'm going to get it right next time, not just with individual little nitpicky things that you missed.
But also, I mean, Levi and I happen to be part of a certain company called Accelerate Tutoring. With one of my key math tutors gone this month to another country, I was legit on my own, because obviously he can't help me in another country. My math shot up to around 8 points, 20 to 28 roughly.
That's pretty good.
Does your, you know, if you want to try some other tutors out, such as Levi or myself, you know, you should message us. You should message us. People have said good things about Levi and my tutoring.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a person we tutored named Mr. Laps who said the same thing that you just said, but then they went with us and it's all changed. It's all gone up from there.
Yes.
So it's weird because they had like the same problem as you, and somehow it was us that solved their problem.
Yes, all your problems were solved.
Yeah.
But you should definitely know this. So effect with an A is the verb on the test. That's how they use it. It can be used as a noun, but it means something totally different. I don't think it was him not knowing which, if I threw any math problem on him, not limited to ACT, he can solve it. I think it was me relying too much on him. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people who are so good at math, they know everything on the ACT. And your score went up a bunch of points, so that's awesome.
Yeah, 8 points is a lot. Yeah, you are a thoroughly different math student if you can get a 28 on the ACT than if you couldn't.
But yes, if you are relying... If most of the work you do is with especially somebody sitting next to you saying, oh, you missed that, oh, you missed that, you're not practicing the ACT itself. But was that 28 an official score? Also, yes, this is affect versus effect. This isn't super common. You might get this one, but they generally do fewer than 5, generally 2, maybe 3 questions on commonly mistaken words. This is one of the instances. There's a 75% chance you're going to get an its versus its one, where you have and you may know these, you may not, and let me know if there are ones that you don't and you know that. These are the 2 its. This one is ownership, and this one is it is. That's the difference there. They sometimes give you this word. This is not a word. Oh no, just practice, but it has been pretty consistent, 27, 28. But they are official. Got it, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, there is such a huge difference between a 20 and 28 that if you're getting that on practices, then that's, much closer to what you'll actually get on the test. And the test day is different, right? You have your blood pumping, you got the adrenaline going, and some people respond well to that. You could get even higher than 28. Who knows? Depends on the test. And there is an element of luck because some areas of math you're a little bit better, and if you get more hard questions on that instead of harder questions on what you're not so good at, then you might just do better than the next person who's has a different area of expertise with the math they've learned. So it's all up in the air. Always can change a little bit.
I will be in the bathroom.
You'll be there. Do you want more commonly mistaken words? Okay, Mr. Zaps. So you've said that reading and science were a little bit tougher for you, or are a little bit tougher for you. You're not sure about your scores there. That's fine. How are you scoring on English? because you only have 3 days until the test, which isn't a super long time, and reading and science don't necessarily jump super quickly with only a couple days left, whereas English could. That being said, and I assume since you've been preparing, 27 was my highest composite score, so for a 2015 exam, unfortunately I haven't hit that yet. But someone said on a real testing day, they said that people commonly test higher, a couple of points. That totally depends on the person. It really does. If you're the type of person who hates studying and you're taking these practice tests late at night, and you're sort of not paying much attention, and you're not trying that hard, yeah, you're more likely to jump some points in some sections on test day. But if you're also somebody who's a very uncomfortable test taker, then maybe you drop a point or two because you freak out. Also, if you've never practiced a full-length test before, then maybe your brain's not super prepared to do this 4-hour test. So there are so many factors that go into it. It really depends on the person. But yes, it is a possibility that your score goes up. It's a possibility that it goes down. You're not going to get a 20. If you're getting a 27 composite, you're not getting a 20 on this test. But you're around there. So just depends on the day. Depends on how accurate you are. Precise. Well, my English is my strongest. I got a 32 first try. Nice. Oh, that's great. Okay. Yeah, then that's awesome. That's awesome. What questions on the English section are hardest for you? Are they the sentence ordering ones? Are they you just not know semicolons? I assume your grammar is pretty good if you're getting that high. Your grammar and punctuation is probably fine. Is it word choice ones that generally trip you up? Organization, generally people don't like. Maybe the overall questions. Maybe should we insert this, should we have this sentence added here? Should we delete it? The yes, yes, no, no answers. Are any of those, because those are generally what keep people from the very top. I gotta admit, today was the Z15 test, had a bunch of sentence ordering and add and delete. I got a bunch of those wrong. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating that I can't pull this up. Why is that the case? I'm trying to figure out what I can do about that. Because until very recently, we were able to pull up, we could have an overlay of a test, which can no longer happen. And I think this is only math here. Yup, only math, so that's no good. That's worthless. Why? Why does this happen? Okay. Let's try this one more time. I don't have much hope here. Yeah. Okay. I don't have time to look this up. Maybe when Brady comes back on, we can do this, or I can look up what the problem is here and pull something up. So the organization question. Let's talk about the sentence ordering ones. So how are Zap? How are you going about figuring out what the right answer is for those sentence ordering ones? Are you kind of putting it in places and seeing how it goes? What's your approach to those? Do you have a very specific approach? Or is it kind of just wishy-washy? We'll see how this goes. This sounds okay, this sounds not good, and then you do it from there? Do you do something specific?
What are you working on, my lord?
Well, I was hoping you'd get back so I can see if I can Google a fix for our problem with the overlay.
Well, I go back and read the passage again and skim it, and sometimes I get caught up by it saying right or wrong, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so these organization questions, honestly, every single type of question on this whole test, there is a very specific, foolproof way of doing it that you don't necessarily have time for. On the English section, I think you do more. But with these organization questions, it's no different. What I would recommend is reading the sentence itself first. Don't give it, and then don't start putting it in. You want to give a little bit of time thinking about that sentence without the passage. So you take your sentence, and sometimes they give it to you in the question, sometimes it's already in the passage, and you think to yourself, okay, what do I need based on just this sentence? What are the clues that it gives me about what has to come first, before it, and what has to come after it? Do that yourself, because it gets your mind thinking about what actually has to happen versus just relying on your gut feeling of, oh, this seems nice, oh, this doesn't seem so nice. Because you can still rely on your gut feeling, but it's just slower and you're going to miss more things. So if your sentence is, she got up from the bench really fast, really quickly. So if this is the sentence we want to organize in our passage, this is pretty vague, but it actually gives us a bunch of clues right off the bat. First, she. We don't know who that is. So the previous part of the passage has to tell us who this is. She got up from the bench. Well, she probably needed to sit down on the bench, or at least we need to know she's there. It says the bench. If it said a bench, that's an introduction of it. If you have a, what is that word? Brady.
Definite versus indefinite?
Yes, that's what I wanted.
Article?
Actually, I don't want to go that specific. Yes, you're right, but I've decided not to talk about it. The bench. That's referencing a specific bench that must have been introduced earlier. So we need to know who this person is. We need to know a little bit more about this bench. And then it happened really quickly. Okay, so the fact that it happened really quickly matters. We need to know why she got up from the bench really quickly. That information might be before it might be after, right? She might be sitting on the bench reading a book. Then she got up from the bench really quickly to find a bug sitting on it next to her or something. So that information needs to come before or after, right? So do that first. It genuinely helps a lot because it makes you pay attention to the specifics before the answer choices, because if you're just saying, how does this sound, you're not going to pick up on as many specifics. You will to an extent. You'll find things because you're smart. If you're getting around a 27 on the ACT, you're doing a good job on this test. You're not getting knocked down by every single section. You're doing a good job. So that's still not going to get you the points on this type of question. You're still going to miss stuff. So the pronoun-ish words like the, those are called articles. I don't know if that question just came in. I just saw it. Versus the. Yeah, the is definite, right? It tells you the bench. So that bench over there. Versus a bench, which is very general. So if she sat down on she sat down on a bench, then she got up from the bench. She wouldn't get up from a bench, and she wouldn't sit down on a bench, get up from a bench. She would sit down on a bench, get up from the bench, right? So the will give you something like that. And you don't have to think about that so specifically, but you should notice that, and that can be more of a gut feeling thing. But be aware of the definite versus indefinite articles. That can certainly help. Then, when you get to the passage, you are comparing answer choices. Should you put it after sentence 1 or after sentence 2? And you think, okay, well, where should it come after or before sentence 2, right? That's basically the question there. Yes, you are comparing between answers, but you can also compare between putting it there and not putting it there, because you have this sentence, then you have, let's say this is A, I guess. Then you have A, then you have this sentence, right? Or you don't put A there and you just go right through, right? So you have these two options. So this is answer F, this is answer G. This is going to make it confusing now. But these are your two possibilities. And so you're putting A here instead, right? Yes, you compare, okay, do I want A on this or this side of this sentence? But also, see how these two sentences flow. This is another thing with pronouns. If this sentence uses some pronoun here and it clearly needs to refer to this sentence, maybe putting A in between makes that ambiguous, which you can't have, right? So yes, you're comparing between where you should put A here or A here, which one sounds better between your possible answer choices, but also pay attention to, do I want A in this spot, or how you're comparing how A works here versus how it works without A there, there is a slight difference between those thought processes. Okay, those are organization questions. Do you have another question? I want to pull up one to show you, but I don't know if I'll be able to. I'll just need to look up a fix to whatever stupid problem we're having right now. Oh yeah, and a lot of them, yeah, might have versus might have. Yeah, that's another one. So you know there that might have is not grammatically correct in English. Or any other language for that matter, I would assume. Hey Bird, can you come up?
Yes.
Unless you want to look up some fixes for what's going on.
No, that's you.
Okay.
I'm back.
You're back and you're mad.
Yes, I am mad. I'm angry. I'm angry. I was just picturing, my first gut told me to pick might have. Yeah, you should do that. I mean, the hard part is like you hear might have, should have, and could have, and would have, but those are contractions. They stand for might have, could have, would have, and should have, even though they sound like might of, could of, would of, should of, but that's wrong. So it's kind of a switch from what you think it's going to be. Mr. Zaps, we're on a roll here. What else do you want to talk about? Mr. Zaps, do you know the 4 ways to separate independent clauses? You got 2 independent clauses pushed together, not separated. That's a run-on sentence. Fix that.
Zap gets mid-30s on the English, so they're good. It's just the more complicated questions.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, Mr. Zaps, past. The first one you wrote is a verb in the past tense. Huh. Wow, that's kind of funny. Whereas the second word, past, means like past, present, and future. It's a time period. It is the time period that has already existed and will never exist again. The past has passed us by, to make you confused. But yeah, past is a verb. Sorry, with an ed is a verb. Past with a t is a noun. Oh, so like she passed him in the race. You can't use past? No, you cannot. Yes, you wrote that correctly now. Right, Levi? P-A-S-T.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to use that except for the past. Yeah.
It can be used as an adjective.
Like the
Past times.
past. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
My past life,
Oh
yeah.
man, it seems so easily logical. I know. You know why? Because you're working with Nerdish. We're the best in the biz if the biz is offering free SAT and SAT prep streaming on Twitch. We are the best at that. Hey, this is something. What do you think about that? This will get you ready for the test. Am I making this sound sad? Non-essential clauses. We got 2 things there. Non-essentials in general or clauses, because there's a lot of non-essentials that are not clauses, and there are essential and then are non-essentials that are clauses. Mr. Zaps. Oh my gosh. Do you know the definition of just a clause? Comma placement. Levi, he wants comma placement. You want to take this or should I take this?
Why don't you take it?
All right. I need to get a rag. Comma placement. That is like the most tricky part of the English section because commas do a lot of different things and they don't tell you what they're doing. They just chill there hoping that you know, oh, this is a listing comma. Things like that. If it was up to me, we'd probably have the same exact system as we have. Okay. So, there are 4 uses for commas. Count them. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Un, deux, trois. What's the... Quatre. cinq. I don't know. No, cinq. That's... No. Cinq. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And various other languages. Okay, I'm going to use this to my advantage. Commas. Use number 1. 1, 2, 3 Mandarin, you got it. Absolutely. Use number 1 is listing commas. You got 3 items or 3 adjectives. You want to use listing commas between them. If you don't have if you only have 2 things, what is that?
Nope.
Wow. Are people seeing that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's not that. That's not what we want.
Wow, that was pretty wild. If you only have 2 objects, you only need to use and. You keep doing it. Oh, that's what you wanted to do.
Wait, did it work?
It looked like it. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, okay. There's also the Oxford comma, which comes at the end of a list of 3 or more things, which looks like this. Commas, periods, and apostrophes. This last comma, according to the Oxford University Press, is necessary. According to other people, they don't like it. On the test, this is good. They also don't even test this, but this is always going to be there. Don't even worry about that. Second use of commas. Comma fanboys to separate 2 independent clauses. Mr. Zaps, do you know what fanboys are? There are 7 of them. It's an acronym, and they're used to separate 2 independent clauses, which means 2 complete sentences. Yes, for an orbit or yet so. Correct. Good. All right. Use 3. Dependent clause, comma, oh jeez, independent clause.
Ah.
Yes. Such as.
Bet you didn't know about that.
Bet you didn't know about that. Bet you didn't know your tutor could do that.
Also, just so you know, as Brady finishes this one up, if there's anything else you want to do, we can now pull up. I have one of the recent ACT practice tests, and we can go through any of the sections, any piece of it that you want. Here, you know what? Let me just put the link to what we're looking at.
Here's an
in
example.
chat.
When I write, Levi leans on me, which is what was happening before, okay? Independent clause here is Levi leans on me. That's a complete sentence. When I write is not a complete sentence. It is a clause because a clause has a subject and a verb. We have a subject and a verb here, I and write. But the word when turns this into a dependent clause. So, dependent clause, comma, independent clause. The fun part is that if you were to reverse the order of this sentence and make it me on leans Levi right I when, you wouldn't need to use the comma. I'm going to actually put that a different way. If I were to start this, wow, I'm tired. Levi leans on me while I write. So I'm putting the dependent clause afterward. No need for a comma. No need for a comma. Commas stand for pauses, and there are places that we pause during our speech that are where we put commas when we write them. We don't pause when we say this. Levi leans on me while I write. That's all one idea. This we do pause. When I write, Levi leans on me. That's where we put a comma in that situation, not the others. And then lastly, we have everyone's favorite, separating non-essentials. Parts of the sentence that are not necessary for the sentence to make sense, but they're nice and they're details. We want to put them in there, but we want the reader to know, hey, this is just a little side thought. It's not part of the main action, not part of the main sequence. It's just a scene somewhere in the middle that they thought about deleting, but they decided to keep it in the movie.
I got the mom calling.
You get the mom calling?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. All right, have fun.
Yep.
Okay. So, Mr. Zaps, this is the difficult one. These are all pretty formulaic. I know you can't use before that. Can you use comma before was? Okay. I see what you're talking about. Let me erase this and we'll do some examples. So, non-essentials can come at the beginning of a sentence, they can come in the middle of a sentence, and they can also be at the end of a sentence. Wherever they are, you have to be able to separate them from the sentence with commas. So the word was and that. We're going to start with, well, I would say for both of them, it depends on the way that they're used. All right, like for instance, the word that. That apple looks disgusting. Of course you wouldn't. Hey, it's Chesky 2. Hello, Chesky 2. We missed Chesky 1, but we're glad to see you. So, Mr. Zaps, yeah, that, it depends on, you know, give me that book. Obviously, we don't want to put commas before that. It's when you use that to introduce what's called a relative clause. That's when you want to put a comma. That's when you don't want to put a comma before that. All right, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a sec. And that's in contrast to using the word which can be used in very similar places. I just used which in that sentence. That's because it's an important word. It comes up a lot. So. Here's an example. I'll start with was, just to show you what's going on. I, a cool guy, was skateboarding. This pen is not great. Here's a sentence right there. I, a cool guy, was skateboarding. We have a non-essential. It is in the middle of the sentence. We call it an interrupting element. When you have a non-essential in the middle of the sentence, you need to separate it on both sides with a comma. You could also use 2 dashes. What you can't do is mix them. Comma and dash or dash and comma, no. Whatever the pattern is that the English section sets out for you, you got to complete that pattern. It's called parallelism. It comes up in a bunch of different topics. Anyway, a cool guy is removable. It's a non-essential. I mean, I think it's pretty essential that I'm a cool guy. But you can remove this from the sentence and you have I was skateboarding. So in that case, we would be able to put a comma before was. If you had no non-essential and you just have I was skateboarding, a cool guy is never removable. Exactly. The instant you remove the cool guy, you tear a hole in the space-time fabric and everything immediately dissolves into nothingness. In this case, we would not want to put a comma before was because that would be directly separating the subject from the verb. I was skateboarding. No, you don't want to do that. Subject and verbs, if they're next to each other, should not be separated by a comma. There can be a lot of stuff in between them, in which case, yeah, you'll see some commas. But in this case, yeah, you do not want to separate the subject and verb if they're right next to each other. So now we come to your question about that. And here's what I will say. If I were to say something like this, the book is blue. So real quick, the book is the subject. The verb is. The is a conjugation of the verb to be. It's a weird verb. I am blue, you are blue, he is blue. If you take Spanish as a second language, you know that it's similar. Yo soy, tú eres, él es, and then you got some other fantastic conjugations. If you put a word like that, how about I really like playing video games and also was tired after playing? Is this grammatically correct? Okay, that's a great question. Here's what I see in your sentence. I see, until gente. Chesky, that's wrong. Mr. Zaps, I see a comma and. What that is to me and to everyone else is a comma fanboys. You only want to use a comma fanboys between 2 independent clauses. So what you have before your comma fanboys is, I really like playing video games. Great. What's after your comma fanboys is, also was tired after playing. That is not an independent clause. Therefore, you cannot use it there. You need to take the comma out. That comma would not be good there. When you team a comma up with a fanboys, they become this super mega tool that can separate 2 independent clauses. The only caveat to that rule is when you have and at the end of a list of things. You know, the book, the scissors, and the stapler. Then you'll see comma and at the end of that. That's not what you have, though. That is not a list. What you have is you like doing this, and then you have another idea, but you don't have a second independent clause, so you can't use comma fanboys. If you were to insert the word I into there, so like, I really like playing video games, comma, and I also was tired after playing, then you could use the comma, okay? But there is a big difference there. Let me know if that makes sense or you have any questions about that. We're going to go back to this for a sec. The book is blue is a sentence. The book that is blue is no longer a sentence. The word that turns this "that is blue" part into just a description of the book, but it doesn't have the action in the sentence anymore. Is no longer the verb of the sentence. The book that is blue, what? What about it? I have to add a verb at the end of this thing. I have to complete it. The book that is blue is great. Now we have a sentence, all right? Now the word which does something very similar. The book which is blue is great. Very similar, but there's a slight difference. If you use which for this purpose, you've got to use commas. Which is saying that this piece of information is not that important. It's a non-essential. Just happens to be blue. The book, which is blue, is great. All right? When you use the word that, you're saying that this is important information for you to know. The book that is blue is great. It's not a different book. We're telling you which book is great. It's the blue one. So you do not want to use commas around that in this case. But with which, the book, which is blue, is great. That one would be a non-essential, so you would use commas around that. And that is the difference between that and which when used as relative pronouns. Mr. Zaps and Chesky 2. Chesky 2, tú eres inteligente. No hable sobre ti, about yourself. Oh, I see. So don't use comma between blue and is. If you're using that, so, okay, if you're using that as blue, no commas. If you're going to use which, the book, which is blue, is great. I have two ises, which is kind of not the best sentence to make. Which is blue. That is a non-essential. It's interrupting. The way you know if you have it correct, that it's an interrupting element, is if you remove it, the two parts of the sentence that are left should almost snap together magnetically. The book is great. That is the original independent clause. This which is blue thing, but I like interruptions. Siddharth! Hey! And you just interrupted by doing that, so props to you. All right? That's very good. I would have more to say, but my brain is slowly being fried. Mr. Zaps. Yes, the irony, exactly. Mr. Zaps, does that make sense? With which, it creates an interrupting element that's non-essential, so you gotta have commas. That does not create a non-essential. Yes. Fantastic. We're gonna get you to that 30. Speaking of that, it is 7:31, so if there are no more questions, we're gonna sign off, because I have to go stuff my face with food in order to keep my body and thus my life continuing into the future. If there are no more questions, we are going to call it a night. Tomorrow is our cram session. We're no longer having cram sessions on Fridays. We're just going to have a cram session on the Thursday before a test. Yes, eat the nutrients so you can have more energy. Mr. Zaps, I've been doing that for 26 years, man. I cannot stop eating nutrients. It's a problem. I'm like addicted to nutrients. I'm trying to get myself off nutrients, but I'm telling you, man, it's hard. It's really hard. Anyway, so tomorrow, Mr. Levi and I are having a cram session. It starts at the same time. Wait, what's the cram session about? The ACT. ACT is this Saturday, Mr. Zaps, which you seem to be taking. We're cramming for that. Because SAT and ACT are on Saturdays, but not all the time. So the weeks that they have them, we cram for that. And what that means that's basically different from this is we go longer. This was 6 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll go 6 to 8:30. Sometimes we go 6 to 9. It's been 3 hours before. Wait, SAT is this Saturday too? No. ACT. Oh, sorry, I wasn't clear. The SATs and ACTs are on Saturdays in general. So before Saturdays where there are those tests, we do cram sessions. And we try to get as many people as we can to watch, because a lot of kids don't do a lot of prep until the very last minute, which makes sense because that's a thing that people do. They procrastinate. I was a procrastinator, and I still am. Thank you for following Flabby Santa.
Flabby
Hey,
Santa?
Flabby Santa! You gotta lose some weight. But actually, you're Santa, so you know what? Keep the weight. Mr. Zaps! Stop procrastinating eating.
Sid.
I know.
Hello,
dude.
Sid.
Dude, Sid came up with, but I like interruptions. It was great. I was talking about interrupting elements, and then Sid just interrupted onto the stream and said, but I like interruptions. Classic Sid. All right.
Sid, are you excited for college? You're not there yet, are you? It's only July 10th. We're excited for college for you.
I'm a robot. Beep beep boop. Buzz. Right?
Can I erase this?
Yeah. Ooh. Mr. Zaps, absolutely. Well, hey, you'll be done after this Saturday, and then you can enjoy your summer until you get your scores back, realize that you don't like your scores, and then want to continue prepping. But I don't think that's going to happen.
This is Zap's last
stand.
It's the last stand.
The last stand for Zap. Yeah, I'm looking forward for the upcoming future. Yeah, that's a healthy attitude for people to have.
So a couple things. If that were a sentence in the English section of the test, you look forward to things. You do not look forward for things.
Yes.
Also, upcoming future, I think is a little bit redundant.
Yes.
So if you're asked the concision question on that one, I would take one of the words, the upcoming time or the future.
Yeah, that's actually brilliant that you pointed that out. Rising senior, and I will have to be done with this regardless.
Yeah, baby.
You do have an opportunity to take it a little bit later. I mean, you really don't. You want to have these things done before senior year starts so you can work on college apps. But, like, technically you could take the ACT as late as December of your senior year, and that will still get to college offices in time for regular admissions deadlines. But you do not want to do that if you can help it.
So help it.
So help it. By gosh. Help it. All right, we're going to sign off now. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes.
Same time. Same place. Go get them.
Yeah, I'm trying to apply early decision in action. Yeah, cool.
Very good.
Yeah, come back tomorrow. We have our cram session, so we'll be going later.
I told him.
Oh.
Where's the third musketeer? We are now just two musketeers,
it's just
Sid.
us two.
Yes.
That's why it's called N2dish.
And Turdish.
And Turdish.
Yeah. Yeah, Brendan has gone a different path. We're still friends. He lives with us, don't worry. But he's gone on a different path. A tangent, if you will, that will never reconnect with the circle.
Right.
Yes.
And
All
we're a
right.
circle.
We're leaving.